like to show that video because not only is it one of the highlights of my life, but everybody tells me I look so much taller on that jumbo screen. So it makes me feel great. Obviously from the video, I'm not here to speak to you all today because I'm a CEO of a big company, a movie star, an athlete that's won several medals over various games, or even the greatest gymnast that's ever lived. I think I'm asked to speak at various events because of what I lived and learned at the 1996 Summer Olympic Games in Atlanta. And that was to believe in myself and my dreams, not my fears. I encourage all of you in this audience to think about your own goals and abilities and to continually push your apprehension aside. I believe that I'm living proof that when you truly believe in yourself and you block out every other distraction, whether it's real or imagined, when you can do that, you're capable of doing anything. In one defining moment, I justified years of sweat, pain, loneliness, a multitude of mishaps, failures, and a lot more second-place finishes than I really care to remember. In that one defining moment on the Olympic stage and captured for the world to see, I trusted in myself, I believed in my talent, and I was able to win that gold medal. Now, I didn't just win a gold medal for myself and my teammates, not even a whole new world of opportunities that I never dreamt were imaginable for me. But more importantly, I won an understanding of the incredible strength and scope of my own personal potential. I now know that I can accomplish whatever it is I choose to do in life. I know that hard work really, truly does pay off. And I also know that failure is oftentimes the prelude to one's greatest achievements. These lessons are the most important thing I took home from Atlanta. Now, many would argue, especially when I go talk to youngsters, that the most important thing I took home from Atlanta was the gold medal. So, although I do have it here today, so you guys can view it later on, and it's here, it's usually tucked away somewhere safely by my mom in my hometown of Tucson, Arizona. And although I don't carry this with me on a normal basis, the self-confidence that I gained and that understanding of my own personal potential, I carry with me every moment of every day. Now, over the last 16 years, it was actually 16 years ago yesterday. So a big anniversary for me. Thank you. I've met a lot of different people and gone to various events, traveled a lot domestically, and there's 3 questions that come up over and over again, whether it was just a couple days after the vault to just a couple days ago from now, when leading up to the games I get interviewed or people recognize me because the Olympics is on their mind. The first question that usually pops out of people's heads and what they ask me is, how's your ankle? Yeah, that's the response I get today. I mean, I'm really honored that they remember my moment and that they're concerned about my health, but it's been 16 years. It's doing just fine. For all of you, though, that maybe don't want to admit, wondering how it's doing, I've ran some marathons, I can jump on it, it's doing A-okay, so thank you for your concern. The next question I get, especially by the media, is, take us back to that moment. Tell us, what were you thinking when you were preparing for that final vault and when you landed on that one foot? So in order to do this, I kind of have to put everything back into context. You saw some of it in the video, but going into those 96 games, my team was called the Magnificent Seven. No pressure going in, And we were really excited that the games were here in the United States. It makes a big difference when you have that home court advantage. But in a sport like gymnastics, you just never know what's going to happen. It's subjective. You can get injured. There's no guarantees, and I think that's what makes the Olympics so exciting. But we were really confident going into those games. After the first day of competition, the compulsory exercises, where everybody does the same routines, we were in second place, right behind the Russians. So going into that final day of competition, we knew, okay, this gold medal is a possibility. It's really within our reach. We started out on the uneven parallel bars, and the first competitor for Team USA rocked her routine. I mean, she did the best routine that she's ever done. And things just escalated from there. Each performer went up and did the best routine that they were capable of. And we were just feeding off one another, and you felt this positive energy. And the coaches, who usually were kind of butting heads with one another, had this camaraderie, and they were high-fiving. And I mean, it was just so exciting. You saw all the signs in the stands saying, "Go USA." And my teammates and I, we were having a great time, and things were just falling into place. We moved on to the balance beam, which is 4 feet high and 4 inches wide. Ugh. When you're competing in front of the world, it can be nerve-wracking no matter how many times you practice it. But much like the uneven parallel bars, we were just hitting routine after routine after routine. 7 girls were on the team, but only 6 would compete on each event, and 5 scores would count. Well, we didn't even have to throw out our lowest score because everybody was doing so well. From the balance beam, we moved to the floor exercise. And for me, this was my favorite event. This is where I shined. I loved flying through the air in my tumbling runs. And the music, when you got to dance along to that and get the crowd involved, it gave you an opportunity to feel like you're on top of the world and you're entertaining people. And again, we all performed magnificently. So all we had left was this one rotation, the vault. You get 2 vaults, meaning you can throw out one of them, the lowest score. So, hey, this is in the bag. No problem. Well, I don't know what it was, if we got too confident or if the stars just stopped aligning correctly or what it was. But the first 4 competitors on the vault, they did okay, but they had a big step here or maybe, a couple hops. So we were scoring all right, but the Russians were on the floor exercise, and their best competitors were yet to come. The vault moves a little bit quicker than the floor exercise, and we didn't know how their last performers were going to do. But I was really confident in my teammate, Dominique Mucianu. She was the itty-bitty one and supposed to be the darling of the games. I know, shorter than me at the time. Yikes. Since then, now she's about 5'3", so she towers over me. But at the time, she was the young one, and she was the darling of those games. And I thought for sure she was going to nail both of her vaults. And I didn't even watch her first vault because I was focusing on myself, practicing my runs, my sprints, things like that, doing certain arm movements to stay warm. And I just heard this big from the crowd. And so I looked up, and on the big jumbo screen in the arena, I saw that she had fallen on her bottom. Wow, I couldn't believe this. But she had another vault to go, and I knew there's no way she's going to fall twice. So when I watched her do the exact same vault again and fall, oh my goodness, the butterflies in my tummy, they started rumbling a little bit more. But I was very confident in myself, my ability to perform the vault. I had done it all year long, hadn't missed a beat, had performed it successfully in every competition. So as I got up on the podium and stood at the end of the vault runway, I just did what I always did, took a deep breath, focused on the technique of the vault, did some arm movements. A lot of us gymnasts, we feel like we got to keep moving to stay loose. And you have certain moves you do, it's kind of, you're superstitious. You think you got to do it like 5 times before you go, and then you'll be okay. And so everything seemed okay in my run, and the technique of the vault, when I still watch it today, was fine. I just did exactly what my teammate had done and opened up too early, and I too fell on my bottom. It was like monkey see, monkey do or something. This was like a nightmare. Seriously, I was embarrassed. I couldn't believe this was the Olympic Games. I had this opportunity to show the world how hard and long I had worked, and I had kind of choked. So when I stood up, I knew that my ankle was hurting me. It was taped, as you saw in the video. It had been hurting leading up to the games. But at the same point, I thought, hey, this is gymnastics. Oftentimes things hurt, but you walk back, you move around a little, and the pain subsides. Now, As I was walking back, the pain wasn't subsiding. My ankle felt out of place, but I was very fortunate that, unlike some other sports, you're not allowed to call a trainer out and see what's going on. You have 30 seconds from the time the green light goes on to start your vault. So I knew that when I was at the end of the vault runway, I had to put aside any fears or rational notions of what might happen, and I needed to just focus on the technique of the vault and some key words that I had practiced in competition, and I allowed myself to just let my body take over. I knew that I had put in all the hard work and that I kind of had to go on automatic pilot. And once I saluted the judges and went running for that vault, I really don't remember much. Sorry, I know everybody wants this exciting story. But the honest truth is my body had done this vault thousands and thousands of times, and I knew what to do. And of course, that adrenaline rush helped pull me through, but I had put in the hard work prior to that moment. There's no special ingredient to doing amazing things.